Super Bowl stuff too, and having some fun this morning in different rooms. And I'm so excited to be able to hand the mic over to you. Please put the link up. You did. You put your link up. Wonderful. And if anybody needs anything from me, just Instagram message me. I adore you all, and I'm going to pass it over to the phenomenal Crystal.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Helps if I unmute. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. We love technology. How's everyone doing on this Super Bowl Monday? Oh, gosh. Well, I needed some beauty sleep last night. So I actually went to sleep after halftime. I watched the incredible halftime show and was dancing and moving and grooving here in Puerto Rico.
Oh, it was great, wasn't it? Oh my God, I'm sure we're just here in Atlanta. And the game was boring until the last quarter. I was like, oh, this game is good. But the last quarter, it kicked it up a notch.
Woo!
Overtime and everything. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to catch some of those highlights.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so great to have you here, Araya, this morning, and your beautiful voice. It's been always a pleasure to be here and share the stage with you.
Right back at you. Happy Monday.
Thank you. Happy Monday. All right, I'm going to try to work technology here and upgrade the link here. So let's see. I am going to share a link that is going to map out our talk today. 6 ways to level up your life, your fitness, your business, be more confident and vibrant, live your best life here. I'm going to share this program because I have only a couple seats left and we're kicking it off this week. So I want to share with you my 6 ways today to level up your life and your confidence, or maybe your business or yourself as a leader. So today I'm going to share with you 6 ways. I'm going to map this out. I would love to hear from you. Kind of what are you working on? What comes up for you? I'll be catching up with the comments in the chat. So make sure you share the room and put your seatbelt on because it's a wild ride. Hello, Jessica. I see you here. Rachel's here. Trisha, Chima, Ramar. Hello, everyone out in the world there. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to talk for probably about 15 minutes, share some tips and nuggets with you. And then I want to open it up and have some laser coaching. You can ask questions, share the mic here. So I'm super excited to be here. If you're new to hearing my voice on Mondays with Health is Wealth here on Clubhouse, Breakfast with Champions, and then also all over on my socials, the Health is Wealth community with Cruz Beyond Limits. I'm Crystal Laura Cruz with Cruz Beyond Limits Consulting, and I'm here to level up your life, your fitness, and your business in just 34 minutes a day. So we can reduce the stress and overwhelm of life and live a more fulfilling life. And when we go through seasons of change and we go to level up, we go after our big dreams and goals, a lot of times that nasty inner critic can creep in, right, and keep us playing small. And I'll tell you, I've been in one of the toughest seasons of my life in the last 4 months. And this system and what I've been able to develop over the last 7 years of being in business is a system of resilience so that we can have the courageous confidence during seasons of change. Because one thing that we know, especially as entrepreneurs and as leaders of our life and of our families and of our business, change is inevitable. And there's going to be things and challenges and obstacles that are going to try to take us down, that are going to try to knock us down a couple notches. And my system that I want to share with you today, these six ways to have courageous confidence in seasons of change and to level up your life, will help you be more unshakable, unstoppable, and unbreakable so that we can bounce back quicker, so we can pivot if we need to, so we can elevate in ways that we never imagined. And I know for me, especially, coming off of a kind of a challenging week for me, having some challenges with technology and social media. Someone's trying to impersonate me. So they say that you haven't leveled up until someone actually tries to impersonate you on social media. So here we are living the dream. Look, Ma, I made it. So here we are navigating all the stressors and pressures. So I wanted to walk you through this because a lot of times things can really knock us down. All right. So tip number 1, if you're taking notes, tip number one, you have to know who you are to your core. Know your identity, your personality type, your values, right? So what is going to be your North Star so that when life gets tough, when you get challenged, when obstacles arise, you have that litmus test. You have something to have as your filtering system. So knowing that what your identity and your personality type is, and maybe your communication style, that can help you breed more confidence and stand on your own 2 feet. So I always say I'm like a cat. Cats always land on their feet. Right? I've never seen a cat land on their back. And so we land on our feet by knowing who we are, and we pivot and we move. I taught a workout this morning outside here on the beach. I moved to Puerto Rico 2 months ago with 10 suitcases. I'm a master pivot master, they call me now. And it was pouring rain. And my tripod flew over and almost fell on the ground. And I literally grabbed it and I was like, all right, what are you going to do when things go wrong? What are you going to do when there's storms? Are you going to cry and shut down and quit? Or are you going to pivot? So you have to know that what you're here to do, your identity, your personality type, what you're going to do, and why it is that you do what you do. So really tap into that. And it takes some curiosity, and it takes a little bit of work, right? And so I'm an emotional intelligence and temperament instructor. So what I do is I help people understand their unique traits, their unique personality type, their triggers, their value sets. And this is part of what I do in the Cruise Beyond Limits world. So this is the first step. So so often when challenges arise, we tend to skip this step. And we're like, we want to be like someone else because we're not as far along, or where things aren't going right, or we tried something and, it didn't work. So sometimes we quit. All right. So really recognizing your identity, your unique strengths, your traits, so that you don't feel that you're so weird or try to be like someone else. And we can really step back to the basics of who we are to the core. And I'll tell you, I moved here to Puerto Rico 2 months ago. After a very, very difficult, challenging time, caught my husband cheating, and I had to literally sell everything we owned, kicked him out, and I moved with 10 suitcases here. So thankfully, I know who I am. I know what my values are. I know what my worth is. I know what I'm capable of. And I know that my business, this is what I do. And so it's a challenge, and I was here for it. And I landed on my 2 feet, and I am thriving no matter what, right? And so the way that I do this is because I have this system, and this is what I train other people to do, is develop a system so that when life gets thrown at you, or illness or injury, or challenges or changes in your life, many people go through an identity crisis, and it's a messy, horrible space to be in. But if you don't know who you are and you don't have that foundation, it can be very, very challenging. So number one is recognize your identity and your personality, right? And if you need help with this, this is what we do in the Cruise Beyond Limits world. Number two, so the first one is identity and your personality. Number two are your habits. So creating a good evening routine and a good morning routine, and developing a set of healthy habits. All right. I always say when I meet someone new, I say I'm like an infant. I eat every 2 hours. My metabolism is always going. So I must eat. I snack, and I do a 10 and 2 snack, 10 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. I just had my 10 o'clock snack, which was a peanut spoonful of peanut butter and a banana. So I eat every 2 hours. I snack, and then I nap in the afternoon, right? I love a good 15-minute nap. I set my alarm, I meditate, and I shut my body down. Right. So I developed a set of habits and a routine to be able to shut my body down, especially in the evening, so that I can wake up with the zest and energy to take on the day, to work out and move my body every single day, to eat healthy nutrition, which is tip number 3. The nutrition is key. But we have to develop a system of non-negotiables. And then I also have a free habit tracker So if you want to DM me the word habit tracker, I'd be happy to get that to you. It's crystaloracruz.com/habit tracker. All right. So I have many tools to be able to help you develop a system so that your body is basically in cruise control. So that when life happens, when challenge happens, you know what your body needs. Do you need to nap? Do you need food? Like, you have a system and a routine. So it's not in a reactionary mood all the time. Okay. So it's very, very important. And this is the work that we do in the $1 Million Body Academy. So if you want, if we have a couple seats left, and it actually kicks off this week. It's 3 months, and we go through each one of these steps one by one. And we do it in a safe and a warm, welcoming cohort. So it's a group program, and we map out what is your personality, what is your identity, what are your habits. We track all this stuff, and we kind of do some trial and error and see what works for us. We get to map this out in a safe and an awesome environment to work through it. So tip number 3 is get your nutrition intact. All right, your nutrition, your food is your fuel. And so often we're depleted. I work with so many women that are not eating enough and don't know how to read labels, and they think they're eating healthy, but really they're just fueling themselves with junk and sugar. And that really can impact our mental health and our ability to process our emotions in a healthy way, and to be able to have the energy to be able to wake up with a zest for life and be able to move your body and not be depleted and dehydrated. So we focus on our healthy nutrition and our hydration in the Cruise Beyond Limits world. So I love to subscribe to a flexible diet, and I love to train other women to do that. So I train you. I'm not a registered dietitian or a nutritionist, but what I do, I've run 26 marathons and a 50-mile race. And I was once in a wheelchair when I couldn't even walk, and I was on endless amounts of medication. I had to take chemotherapy, and I was told I was never be able to walk again without all endless of medication. And then it took an entire year, and I studied the power of nutrition, mental health, and movement to be able to get out of that wheelchair and start to walk, crawl out of that wheelchair, and then to run 26 marathons and a 50-mile race and not even take ibuprofen or any medication. All right. So that doesn't come without some trial and error, right? So if you find it and catch yourself comparing, and maybe you're in a season where you're recovering from an illness or an injury, or you're on medication and you want a better life, there is another way. All right. Now, I'm not saying that you have to get off of all the medication. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is if you focus on your nutrition and your hydration, and you see that there could be other options to fuel your body in a healthy way, that we're not in this reactionary mode, and we don't have these sugar crashes and cravings and all these things. We recognize how to read labels, how to eat for our body type, and be intuitive with our bodies so that we can have a healthy relationship with food. This is so important. And so often my clients are like, I have never had such a healthy relationship with food. I can have a brownie. I can eat my own cake on my own birthday and not feel guilty. I can have a glass of wine, or I can have a piece of chocolate, or I can eat the pizza if I want to, and I'm not going to fall into this spiral or just go through all the drive-throughs. Right? We can have a healthy relationship with food and recognize that we're not eating our emotions and eating our feelings all the time. Because what we do is step number 4 is we recognize that our energy and our mindset matters. And so we recognize that inner critic, and we recognize how we process our emotions and the roles that we play in our lives. And it's so important when we recognize what we pour into our lives and the different roles that we play, and that some of these roles take more energy and some of these roles take more out of us. All right. And so recognizing that the stress and the pressures of our life and all the things that we're juggling, especially if you're a mama, if you're a business owner, we are trying to navigate so many things all at once. And so often we put our own health and wellness on the back burner. No longer, my friends. All right, it's time to bring that to the forefront. And it's a you first mentality, because what happens when we sacrifice ourselves to take care of everyone and everything else, we start to resent and we start to resist the very thing that we need to be our very best self for everyone else. And so it just takes a little bit of an energy shift. And this is what we do in the Cruise Beyond Limits world and in the $1 Million Body Academy, is what we take a look at. Okay, what roles do we play and how do we sort all this out to be able to have some healthy balance in the people that need us and the things and the places and the spaces that we choose. All right. And so we have this kind of foundation of like, okay, so where are we right now? Where do we want to go? How do we want to be able to pour in and live our very best life and feel all the energy? Yes, it's possible. Yes, you too. All right. So number 4 is tap into your confidence by being consistent in the pursuit of what is setting your soul on fire. So that means setting yourself up for success, having your healthy nutrition, having the habits, knowing who you are to the core, and then developing an energy system and kind of in this like force field so that you know the roles that you're playing and being able to balance and navigate all of these stressors and pressures. So it's a combination of things. And so often we get so focused on what we can't do that we have this spaghetti brain and it's all jumbled in our head and we're like stress and anxiety and pressure. And then it gets so overwhelming that sometimes we do nothing because everyone needs us and it's a reactionary state. So when we can level out our energy and be so focused and dialed in, and you can get around other amazing people that are doing the same thing, the opportunities are endless. Okay, so really focus and be consistent with the small things. It's just little tiny things every single day that add up over time. And in the Cruise Beyond Limits world, we have the virtual HIT camp. They're 30-minute workouts, including warm up and cool down, no equipment. And we take one 30-second segment at a time, 30 seconds at a time, 15 seconds at a time, and that's it. And we just break down and the 30-minute workout into 30-second increments. And it's not so overwhelming when we break it down. But when we're consistent in those 30-second increments, it's incredible the things that we can do. All right. So it's just that consistent daily action in those 30-second movements. All right. And so this is what we do. And we capitalize and we get that momentum. But I'll tell you that motivation, I feel this flood of motivation and energy inside of me right now as I get my second wind. Y'all have been in a season of change. And so sometimes it's not always rainbows and butterflies. And not every day is going to feel good. But I'll tell you, when you are consistent and you're going after the dreams and goals and your brain is like, yes, that's what breeds more motivation. Just getting up and having another cup of coffee or having some chocolate and all that sugar to think that it's going to just arrive, my friends, it's not going to happen. All right, no amount of motivation is just going to show up on your doorstep. You have to move, you have to take action, and you have to get around other people that are going to help fuel you forward. So tip number 5 is all about relationships. So you have to recognize which relationships, who's in your network, which relationships are fueling you forward, which relationships we need to kind of say, they're not going into this next season with us. And that's a very difficult thing to manage and navigate. But we get to do this in a beautiful community and you're not alone. So if you know that you need to start to say no to certain people and you need to kind of elevate yourself and you've maybe outgrown certain situations, people, places, and things, this is the work, my friends, that we do. And it's not easy stuff, but we are not meant to do life alone. And so what we find is that in relationships, we have to recognize the energy that we're putting in and the energy that we're receiving and having this dance and recognizing if you're here to level up in 2024, if you want to level up your fitness, your business, your relationships, your next level version of you want to be an author, you want to be a speaker, you want to lead a community, you want to get more involved in church, you have to recognize that there might be some things that are holding you back, my friends. And so it's sucking us of some of the energy that is preventing us from moving forward. And a lot of times these are the very blocks that might be right in your backyard. And these were the blocks that I've had to work through. that were in my own family, that were in my own household. All right. And so these are challenges. And so we dissect the different relationships, the people that are in our network. And I give you the tools to navigate this and say, okay, who do we need in our network? And we network. They always say your network is your net worth, right? So who you surround yourself with matters. All right. And then we help you navigate the stressors and the pressures of the relationships that you do have. And we give you the tools to be able to understand the people in your life at a deeper level, because you're doing the work on yourself even more. And it starts with you. Trent Shelton always says it all starts with you. And it's so important. And this is the work that we do it starts with you recognizing your potential, your stressors, your triggers, your own personality type, your values, your emotions, so that you can see this and understand it in others. So many people skip this step. So we get to look in the mirror so that we can get into community and recognize the people in our lives that we get to help elevate as well, or show them what's possible. So that's number 5, is all about relationships. So we take a deep dive into the relationships that you have and maybe some that you need to put in place to elevate you to that next level you. And I'll tell you, some people are walking around wearing black all the time. They're hiding themselves. They're ashamed. They're covering themselves. They're not taking pictures. They're not having a zest for life. They're not having the memories and doing the things that they want, to vacation, to live their very best life. And many times it's because they don't have a good relationship with themselves or the people around them. And I'll tell you, the number one thing that I hear from every single graduate of the $1 Million Body Academy is, Crystal, I'm falling more in love with myself again, or I found myself again. And I skipped this step before. Where were you 20 years ago? I got to know myself to the core. I got to love myself, set boundaries, and understand the people in my life, and get to cultivate a deeper, more meaningful relationship with my spouse and my children and my business owners and my coworkers. I have people that got their dream job or started new jobs, or are caretakers and asked for help for the first time in their lives, and got help and got mentored and got coached and delegated some things, asked for help with their children and their family members. So tip number 6 is boundaries. But we don't set boundaries until we know who we are and where we're going and get this really good foundation. So we're unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable. And we have our set of healthy habits that we know works for us. And then we say, okay, what boundaries are in place currently? We take inventory. I always say the body's like a vehicle, and we pop open the hood. I just got a new car here in Puerto Rico. It's not new. It's a 1999 Nissan Quest minivan, and she needs some work. And I've been popping open the hood a lot to check the oil, to check the engine. I have no brakes right now. I'm doing a massive overhaul of this vehicle. And so if your body and your nervous system needs a massive overhaul, we check open the hood, we open it up, and we check the oil, we check the engine, and we say, what is happening in our life right now? So if you are stuck, if you don't have any brakes right now, if you are in a season of change and growth and transition, and you're like, where am I going? Someone else is driving my vehicle. I'm not in charge anymore. Everyone else is depleting me of all things holy. There might be some boundaries we need to put in place. And so we open the hood, we check the engine, we check the oil, we see what's happening, we see what's going on. We understand your self-talk and all the noise. We quiet the noise. And then we might implement some boundaries. We might reinforce some boundaries. We might set some boundaries. And that's our culminating activity in the Cruise Beyond Limits $1 Million Body Academy. This is what we do in this world. And so we do it in a healthy cohort in 3 months together. So if this is something you need help with, please, I would strongly encourage you to consider joining us, because it is a beautiful community of amazing women that are just going after it this year, right? And so you get access to the program for life. It's an online course, and then we meet on Zoom every other week to get in community. We have an accountability group chat. You get the workouts, you get the fitness, you get a nutrition plan, you get a fitness plan for 3 months, you get all the swag. I can throw all the perks at you, But the biggest perk is you get to know and love yourself even more. So I want to open up the mic. If you have questions about this program or anything at all, I'd love to hear from you. I know my team is catching up on social here, and Ned is here. So who would love to speak? I know there's some incredible people here on Breakfast with Champions as well. So we have a couple minutes till I have to close the room. So who would like to share or ask any questions? I'm here for you.
Crystal, it's Mary Lynn. I like the idea of the visual or the analogy of the car and popping open the hood, because as I approach, yes, 55 is getting harder to say.
Woo, the speed limit.
What's that?
The speed limit. Yes, I love it.
55. You know, it's just, what am I looking at? What am I taking inventory of? What spark plugs need to be replaced? Where do I need to overhaul? You know, how much tread do I have left on the tires? That is like so fun. So love that. But I hope that you're overhauling that van for some like fun camping. Like, that's my dream. Take a van and overhaul it for some like van life adventures and experiences.
Oh, you know it. Thank you so much. And when's your birthday?
May 27th.
Woo! Okay, awesome. I'm going to put that on my calendar. Okay, May 27th. Cool. Maryland. All right, so yeah, van adventures. Yes, I'm getting it set so it can pass inspection. And so I can pick people up. It's called, she's called Gigi, the grocery getter. So never have I ever imagined owning a minivan, but I am planning adventures here in Puerto Rico. I host retreats. I've hosted many retreats in Costa Rica and in Tennessee. And I'm having a Cruise Beyond Limits Revive and Thrive retreat reunion here in Puerto Rico. And then I'm also partnering with some incredible other entrepreneurs here. I can't say who yet, but we're doing a book and a speaking retreat here that is going to be open to the public here at the end of April. So it's going to be an incredible experience. So it's not 100% ready for public consumption, but if you want to send me a message and you want first access to that, I will let you know. It's going to be a 2-day experience here on the beaches of Puerto Rico. And you'll get to see Gigi in real life. And we're going to have some incredible experiences with that van. We're going to be able to go all over the place, and I'm excited. So thank you so much for sharing. Anyone else care to share questions or comments, reflections? Okay. Well,
listen, it's so quick. I was just giving space. Hi, this is Jen.
Hello.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Yeah, so I just wanted to make a quick reflection to what the last part that I heard. I know that I'm coming in on the end of it, but it's very encouraging to hear such language coming from a room to people to encourage. You know, so often when we are the givers and when we are the caretakers, we don't take, you know, I'm a psychotherapist, and we don't take the time to take care of ourselves. And so when you're talking about opening up the hood and getting in there, you know, that's, to me, what that says is shadow work. That says, you know, getting in there and cleaning out the engine so that it can shine, right? And we all have that ability within us to shine more brightly. And when we feel we are dulled down by whatever in this world, whatever's occurring in our world, if we would all remember what seems to be, what's a good word to use? Anything that is keeping us from where we feel we're supposed to be. It's truly so simple, but at the same time, it is challenging. But if we're willing to take the time and to do the work, you know, to say that there's nothing that we cannot achieve that is in our hearts to achieve, I do not believe is an overstatement of any sort.
Yes.
So I thank you for what you're bringing, and I honor you for it. So it's a pleasure to meet you all. And with that, I will be complete.
Thank you so much for chiming in for those beautiful reflections to end our day here on this fine Monday motivation. I just gave you a follow. And the access to this replay is over on my YouTube and all over my socials. So if you want to send me a message, you'll get to see the rest of it. And I'd love to hop on a call with you and see how I can support you. And this is a you first and a you too movement. So put yourself and your health first for just 34 minutes a day and go change the world, show others what's possible by pouring into yourself and your health first. So this is all, my friends. I hope you have a wonderful day, a great rest of your Monday, and have a great week. Cheers, everyone.
Have a great